So I just finished the game Journey, and honestly, I think it was a very interesting game. I'm not gonna claim that like it changed my outlook on life or whatever, but it was one of the most memorable and honestly unique experiences I've ever seen. And I find the story and the messages that it tries to convey so beautiful. There's just so much visual metaphors, and it's just beautiful. Like that's all I can say. Like I'm just speechless. I don't know what to say. It's just such a masterpiece when it comes to its like non-verbal or like non-expository progression and how it explains the messages and themes. Because, for example, this game is like a huge metaphor about life, about humanity, and what it means to be a human and how you live your life. For example, the game starts off in a barren desert filled with graves, tombstones, and ruins. But of course, you actually have a clear goal in mind. You know, you go through the desert, and you eventually understand that you have to go to the mountain. This mountain is essentially like a really big metaphor for dreams, for your goals, for your wants, desires, whatever you want out of life, or maybe you don't know what you want. This is why you're going to the mountain. The mountain is supposed to be like a metaphor for everyone's life. And remember, you start at the beginning of this area, right? And as I said, it's a metaphor on life. You are born and you have no purpose and no meaning. You're just kind of stumbling through an empty desert where there's nothing, you know? And eventually, after going through the desert and pushing on, you start to have fun. You start to enjoy the beautiful vistas, like just the adventure of it all, like finding some different careers and whatnot. And I think this is like essentially a metaphor for finding some meaning and purpose in life. And this is why the vista and everything is just so light, it's just so beautiful. The lighting is just hopeful, it's vibrant, the sunset is like in the background, which essentially symbolizes that your wants and your dreams are like on the horizon and eventually gonna achieve them. You know, it's just like very beautiful, just scene where you're supposed to be young, innocent, and discovering it all for yourself, you know? It's just so beautiful, like going through the environments, going through the slopes. It's just really fun to traverse, to fly, and yeah, it's just a really beautiful area that just symbolizes so much innocence, joy, and whimsy. And eventually, as you understand, in life you fall into despair. And this despair essentially means like maybe something happened to you, maybe a family member dies, maybe your life has been shit up to this point, whatever happens, eventually like you get to that point in life where everything just feels dark and empty, where you just feel so cold and just so depressed, you know? And what I love about this game is the fact that it actually visualizes that part of the game. And it's such like a beautiful contrast going from that like beautiful, playful environment to falling down this like huge rabbit hole where it's just dark, you know, like it makes you feel kind of like bad because before that you just were in this beautiful vista. And I think this like symbolizes you falling into, as I said, depression, where you lose your purpose and your meaning, and literally you fall into a fucking hole in the game, you know. But of course, eventually you continue pushing and everything will be okay, and you climb out of it. Like literally, you go to this dark place and you climb out of it to like a huge tower, and back to your original goal. It's such a beautiful like little like visual and metaphor. But of course, after going to like your dark or like your darkest moment in life, this doesn't make you magically become happy or fulfilled. And this is what I like about this game, because your next area or your next level is a cold, harsh, empty and barren mountain. You know, where it's not like as dark as it used to be in the hole, but it's still pretty much a very dark and very harsh environment. And I think this is like maybe a metaphor for you going through the motions and about trying to find fulfillment. But of course, after everything that has happened, you can't just become happy and go back to the beautiful desert area. Nope, your darkest moment might be behind you, but you will still feel cold and empty as you continue going through the motions of life. And this is what I think the cold desert area is supposed to go, because while you're out of your original conundrum, right, it's still pretty harsh going and trying to forget whatever it is that happened that made you fall into the hole to begin with. But of course, this game is about resilience, so you continue to push through it, and you know, eventually you start to get close to the mountain. And I don't know about you, but like when I want to do something, or like when there's like a big change coming through my life, I have this like weird anxiety and like really unease feeling. You know, I can barely sleep. Like the thought just stays at the back of my mind, and I'm just like not enabled to see what's past the horizon. I just feel this like hand grabbing my chest, and I just like feel so afraid of the future, afraid of what's gonna happen to me, and this like weird anxiety. And what I find so cool about it is the fact that they actually exemplified this by putting some thunder on the horizon and making you go through this like really harsh climb, right? But there's like a snowstorm and there's some thunder, and I just find it so cool that like I actually managed to exemplify like these emotions of a big change through the visual metaphors and the visual storytelling and the environment. It's just really impressive. But eventually you just push through all of that, you know, and you achieve your goal. And I haven't really achieved my goal, but for what I understood about this part is after like achieving your dreams, your purpose, whatever makes you human or whatever makes you understand or like want to exist in this world, after like having gone through the beautiful innocence area, falling through that hole of depression and then climbing out of it only for it to be cold, after finally understanding and getting whatever it is that you wanted, you have this like beautiful scene where you just fly through the mountains, where there's this beautiful adventure of like just flying, just being in the moment, just feeling the wind on your face. And the way I see it is it's supposed to be when you finally achieve your dreams. Some people don't achieve them, but my character did, and I assume that yeah, this is what it's supposed to be. It's just this beautiful, bright environment where you're just free to do whatever you want, where you're just free to just fly through life, and it's just so beautiful. And eventually you do whatever you wanted to do, right? And there's like this scene where you kind of go through like this great beyond, like you see like a white light and you slowly walk towards it. And I think this is like at the end of your life when you have achieved your dreams and you just pass on, you know, like you have done whatever it is that you wanted out of life, and eventually you're too old to continue, and then you just pass on. And as you go through this like light, you just pass on, you know. And what I like about this visual metaphor is the fact that throughout the game, the shooting star or the falling star goes from this ending area to the very start of the game. Remember when I told you that you start in this barren desert? This is exactly where the falling star begins. And I think this is like a sort of like cycle of life type of thing, where it shows you that this is supposed to be the human experience. You suffer, you fall, you get back up, you eventually continue through your darkest moment where you just feel cold and empty, and eventually you find whatever it is you want, and then you pass on, only for your children, your brother, your family, your friends to go through the same thing, and then the next generation, and then the next generation after that. It's just this whole cycle of life, you know, where life continues marching on, and eventually pass on. Now, there's like always like some like other things I didn't quite understand. For example, this game is essentially pro-life, right? Like for example, if you play with other players, the experience gets so much better. That dark hole that you go through gets so much more human, like so much easier to traverse. The emptiness, the just barrenness of it all, because this game is very lonely. If you play this game alone and you find no players, it's such a different experience. But if you actually find someone to go with you, the little silly like little dances and little like verbal communications you can do with them, it's just such a heartwarming and just makes me feel something. I'm not really sure what exactly it is, but playing this game is just, you gotta do it by yourself, man. There's nothing I can say that will make you understand just how beautiful it is to like find another soul going through their journey. And the way I understand it is, it's supposed to be you finding that one connection. Because throughout life, there's so many people who mean absolutely nothing. People who are evil, people who are just disgusting monsters. And these people make me feel empty. They make me feel alone. In fact, me being alone just makes it so much better than having to interact with this side of humanity. But there's also another side of humanity that I have sadly not have experienced it yet. And that is the warmth of finding another human being, another person who is just struggling through all this bullshit, a person who is just as lost and as empty as you are, but you find this comfort, you find this warmth, this camaraderie, this unspoken like mission. Like, this person gets you, this person understands everything you're going through, and you just kind of stick together through this journey of life, because this is what this game is. It's a journey about life, the cycle of life, what it means to be human. And what I love about it is having another player go through the world that you're going through is just, I don't know, it makes the journey so much easier. It makes that emptiness and that just suffocating silentness go away. And this is what I love about it. And of course, like, you also have the you know, like those little critters that you go through life. There's like a lot of little animals and like a lot of weird things, fucking carpets, fucking Aladdin carpets just flying. But I guess like they were like meant to be like the beauty of life, and that even like if they aren't human, we're all like in this journey, you know, we're like all going through life in that, and whatever that entails for each species and whatnot. These species of animals and humans can all benefit from each other, right? Like, for example, you get, you know, meat out of out of a cow or whatever, like, and then like the fly eats you when you die or something. I don't know. I didn't quite understand what the little critters and like the animals were supposed to be in this game, but I'm understanding that it's supposed to be just the symbiosis of life. You know, the environments, the how do you call it? Like, where like every single thing like plays into each other, right? Like, for example, if you breathe oxygen, it turns like into CO2. Like, for example, plants filter oxygen to give you your own oxygen or whatever. I don't know what I'm going with. Like, my point is, like, there's this like little sphere of life that all plays into each other, right? And all benefits each other, all hurts each other. And what I understand from it is just this journey where it doesn't matter if you're like human or non-human, we're all going through this journey where we're all going to the end. Because the mountain means not only the goals that you have in life, but the mountain also means the end of your life. So the fact that like we're all going through it, the humans, or like little like weird red people, the white people, and the animals, I think that it was like this beautiful like symbiosis where it shows that we're all in this together and we can all help each other, or not. I don't know. It was just beautiful, man. But I'm not quite sure about this one, so let me know in the comments. I think I'm getting like very off track. But yeah, it was supposed to be like the fact that like it doesn't matter what you are, what species you are, we're all going through the same thing where we want whatever it is we want. And again, remember, the mountain doesn't just mean your goals and dreams, because I don't think flies or dogs have goals and dreams, but desires, like, or needs, right? Like, for example, the food you eat, and yeah, that's how I interpret it. Of course, like, this doesn't mean that like life is all sunshine and rainbows, right? Because as you can see through the game is filled to the brim with death. If you pay attention for like more than 1 second, there's just graves and tombstones all over the place. You know, there's ruins. There's just everything. It's like a very like dark game if you start to think about it. There's just so much death and emptiness. It's suffocating at times. And the way I see it is, in the beginning, if you noticed, there's like tombs everywhere. I think this means that some people have fallen where you started. Because if you think about it, some people never had food on their tables. They never had water. They never knew what it's like to have friends or girlfriends like me, or parents, or whatever. And so a lot of people fell where you started. You know, some people in Africa don't have food. They are starving. And a lot of people in the past especially don't have the same things that you do when it comes to life, right? And that's why I think the graves are there. To show you that even if you started at that barren desert, some people didn't even have a barren desert. They had nothing. Heck, they probably had it even way worse than you did. So in some ways, realizing that like there's just so much death everywhere, and understanding that my journey can end at any time, where other people might continue or they might give up, I feel like I feel blessed in some ways to be here, because some people went through a whole journey just to get where I started. Right? Like they just went through like a whole painful journey to just fall where I just was born into it. I don't know, man. That's how I feel, you know? And like the fact that like not everyone makes it, as you can see by the graves, where some people have made it halfway, so it was all for nothing, or people like almost reached the end, is such a surreal and kind of makes you grateful and blessed in a way about being alive. I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's a very sobering experience. At least that's how I saw it. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. And of course, like we also have the whole story. I didn't quite get it. I'm guessing like it's about the age-old civilization's downfalls. About some group of people coming together, but of course some like rich cunts and some idiot with powers decided to just have it all for themselves, because in the game it is shown that like these people find like this source of power, and they break like they build like a great civilization, this like whole huge place, this beautiful environment, right? But eventually, as I said, in the cutscenes they show like they just trying to fight and for that power that they found, and they kind of like split up, like even the sound is like where they just kind of tear apart whatever the power it is. In the game it's shown to be like this carpet, because for some reason the people really liked carpets when they were making this game, but it's supposed to be about that, well, like people got greedy after like building everything together, only for them to have like this huge war and like these little robots destroying all of it. And this is why there's like so many ruins and deserts in the game, and maybe even that, because humanity decided to be humanity and eventually destroy all of it. This is why everything is in ruin. And of course, a new species is born, and the way the game frames it is almost like this messiah figure, this new species that is born, that is going to bring hope, and maybe humanity will put aside their differences and go on this journey of life together. Because remember, the journey isn't just the literal thing you're going through. The journey is supposed to be the journey of life, the start, the middle, and the end, where you all die. And I found it's such interesting that these old white dudes carpets were just having faith and maybe like even hope in this like new species of like red carpets dudes, where they would probably like leave the old ways behind and come together for a more bright future, and the future being the mountain. So I feel like the red dudes are like supposed to be a hope for the future of humanity or something, and this is why the white dudes kind of show the story of the world. This is why they actually show, when you meditate, the past and everything that has happened, and this is how I feel what the story is. So yeah, and this is why they helped them, and this is why they decided to revive them and give them another chance at life, so they can all work together. And this is why I think the whole teams of this game just work together so beautifully. You finding hope and finding like another co-op partner, and the game just feeling so warm instead of just feeling cold and empty when you go through it by yourself. And this is why in the murals, I don't know how to say it, like the painted walls were fucking troglodytes painted in the past, and this is like why they like have so much just hope. I don't know. It's just beautiful, man. I after talking to all of it, this is what Journey meant to me. Journey meant this journey about the metaphor of life, about the struggles we all go through, the darkness that we all fall, the cold we feel just living our daily lives. That's what Journey was to me, showing you that I guess maybe if we continue through it, maybe life will get better, and maybe after we have achieved our dreams, we will be happy, and we will be fulfilled and go to the great beyond. That's just how it felt. Just, God, what a beautiful world. And like the fact like they have like so many beautiful metaphors and visuals that represent this journey of not just the actual story of the game, but the fact that like it's a big metaphor for everything about life. It's just special. What a beautiful game about life, about what it means to be human, about the struggle, pain, and what we all must do in life. Even if a lot of us don't even get there, and even if a lot of us don't ever get to the mountains, and a lot of us just fall and live forever in this cold, it's just place. I don't know, man. In my own life, I'm getting a bit personal here, but in my own life, I'm thinking of Fortniting myself. I'm not gonna say the word, otherwise YouTube's gonna remove this. But my life is pretty fucked. I've been in need for most of it. My life has just been this huge darkness, abusive parents, bullying, not having any meaning or purpose in life, being born in a place where I don't really even have the possibility of achieving my dreams, and now me being too old to really believe it can get better. You know, playing this game gave me a bit of hope that maybe my life will get better, but I don't know, man. Maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm one of those people that was just meant to struggle and just have a shittier life where others just were born with it. Maybe I was one of the losers, and you can't always win in life. Because while this game's story was supposed to be hopeful and happy, this game isn't also just that. It's also about how people just fall, how people fight each other, how people are greedy and get power for themselves and then make life worse for everyone, as seen by the white dudes. And the fact like some people through this journey fall way sooner than others. I don't know, man. I find this journey to be hopeful, but also shows you that not everyone can make it, and that's the darkest part about all of it. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I will ever succeed or find happiness, and maybe I will perish. That is that's what I want to do, as you can see by my YouTube video. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what to think. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going. Fuck. Anyway, and of course, like there's other things like I don't understand. Like what the fuck are those robots guy things? Like are they supposed to be the like fear or obstacles in life? Like is it like talking to a woman, taxes, getting a job? Like what are they supposed to be? I'm not really sure. I guess like those robots were supposed to be like the fears that you find in life. I don't know, man. So yeah, beautiful game. 11 out of 10. I recommend. Play this game, and I don't think you will be. I don't think you will regret it. You know, go through it blind, like I did, and I just made me think. I just can't stop thinking about it now. So yeah, thank you for making this game, guys. Whoever it was, I don't know who the developers are. I'll have to Google it. But yeah, I'm very grateful they did, and I'm just surprised they managed to make it this fucking good. They're fucking geniuses.